For the best nursing lectures, subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon to stay connected and tuned with us.
Hello everyone and welcome back to our channel. Myself Jeel. Today we will learn about anatomy of respiratory system. But before we begin, I would like to request you all to please watch the full video because the PPT that we display does not contain detailed description. So for that, please watch the full video. Let's begin.
Anatomy of respiratory system. Introduction. The human respiratory system is a series of organs responsible for taking in oxygen and expelling carbon dioxide. The respiratory system consists of passages that filter incoming air and transport it into the lungs and to the many microscopic air sacs where gases are exchanged. So the respiratory system is a passage through which the air enters, it filters, transports to the lungs, and then the gases are exchanged. Respiration is the process of exchanging gases between the atmosphere and body cells. Let's take a quick overview of the anatomy and functions of respiratory system. There are two pathways by which gases enter and leave the body. First is through nostrils and nasal cavity, and second is through mouth and oral cavity. Both the paths come together in pharynx. You can see in this diagram. The pharynx continue with larynx and larynx continues with trachea. Then comes the bronchial tree, which includes primary, secondary and tertiary bronchi and the alveoli. Finally, we have the lungs. The lungs cover the bronchial tree. Respiratory system is divided into two sections, upper respiratory tract and lower respiratory tract. The organs of upper respiratory tract are nose, nasal cavity, pharynx, larynx and trachea. And the organs of lower respiratory tract are lungs, bronchi and bronchioles and alveoli. Before we start with the organs, let's discuss the functions of respiratory system. First is gas exchange. It occurs in the lungs. Our body needs oxygen to live and it needs to throw the CO2 out of the system. This gas exchange occurs in the alveoli of the lungs as shown in this diagram. Second function is sound and vocalization. Yes, respiratory system is responsible for our sound, our voice and our ability to speak. This is possible because of larynx, which is also known as voice box. The vocal folds, which are present in larynx, vibrate as the air passes through them and the sound is produced. Next is olfaction. Olfaction means a sense of smell. We can say what dish our mother is cooking by the smell coming from the kitchen. How is that possible? It is because when the air will enter nasal cavity, it will come in contact with olfactory nerve and it will give us the sense of smell. Now let's start with the upper respiratory tract organs. Nose. The structure of nose is very simple. There is a bridge which is called dorsum. It is continuous to the nasal columella. Here you can see in the diagram. And then there are alae of nose. Alae means this wing-like structure. Alae covers the nostrils. So this was the external structure of the nose. Next is nasal cavity. This is the structure of nasal cavity, internal structure of nose. It includes nasal septum. Nasal septum divides the nose into left and right portion. Then there is mucous membrane. Mucous membrane traps any dust particle present in the air that is inhaled and it purifies the air. Now you can see at the lateral wall of nasal cavity there are these ridges like structure, or we can say three column like structure. These ridges are called conchae. There is a superior, inferior and middle conchae. Now the question is, what do this conchae do? When the air enters in the nasal cavity, the conchae makes the air in contact with nasal epithelium and it warms the air and moistens the air. It also traps impurities in the nasal mucus, which is secreted by the mucus so that it can be eliminated from the respiratory tract. The other structures that you can see here are sinuses. There is a frontal sinus, maxillary sinus, ethmoid sinus. There is also a sphenoid sinus. It is present on the roof of the nasal cavity. Sinuses are the group of tiny cavities in the bones of the face and the cranium containing air. They open in the nasal cavity and are lined with mucous membranes. These gaps are present to lighten the skull, and sinuses are also included in speech. Bones of nasal cavity. On the roof, there are ethmoid bone, sphenoid bone, frontal bone, and nasal bones. Floor consists of maxilla and palatine bones. Medial wall is made up of nasal septum, and lateral walls include maxilla and ethmoid bone. Let's talk about the pharynx. It is a common space for both respiratory and digestive system. It is a passageway about 12 to 14 centimeter long. It begins from the posterior nasal cavity and it ends at the larynx. It is divided into three portions: nasopharynx, oropharynx and laryngopharynx. Nasopharynx lies behind the nose above the soft palate. On the lateral walls of nasopharynx there are opening of auditory tube. These auditory tube lead to each of the middle ear. Oropharynx is the oral part of the pharynx. It lies behind the mouth and it is up to the third cervical vertebra. Lateral walls of oropharynx has folds, and in those folds there are palatine tonsils situated. Laryngopharynx is a part of pharynx which starts from the oropharynx and it continues as esophagus, in which larynx is situated anteriorly. So basically pharynx is the passage for air and food. It warms the air and humidifies the air. It helps in hearing, as the auditory tube are situated in nasopharynx, so it helps in hearing, and it also helps in the speech. Blood and nerve supply. It includes both sympathetic and parasympathetic nerves. Sympathetic supply is by superior cervical ganglia. Parasympathetic supply is by the vagus and glossopharyngeal nerves, and the blood is supplied by the branches of facial artery. Next is larynx. Larynx or voice box links the laryngopharynx and the trachea. This is the posterior aspect of larynx, means we are looking at the larynx from behind, from the posterior side. Larynx is composed of 9 irregularly shaped cartilages attached to each other by ligaments and membranes. It consists of 1 thyroid cartilage, 1 cricoid cartilage and 2 arytenoid cartilage. It also includes 1 epiglottis. Thyroid cartilage is the most prominent of the laryngeal cartilages. The cricoid cartilage lies below the thyroid cartilage, and the arytenoid cartilages are two roughly pyramid-shaped hyaline cartilages which are on the top of cricoid cartilage. The epiglottis is a leaf-shaped fibroelastic cartilage, as you can see in this structure. The epiglottis acts as the lid which it closes off the larynx when we are swallowing food, so that the lungs are protected from the accidental inhalation of food. Blood and nerve supply. Blood is supplied by the superior and inferior laryngeal arteries. Parasympathetic supply is from superior laryngeal and recurrent laryngeal nerves, branches of vagus nerve, and sympathetic nerves are from superior cervical ganglia. The functions of larynx is production of sound and speech. It protects the lower respiratory tract, and it also humidifies, filters and warms the air. Trachea. Trachea is also known as windpipe. It is the continuation of the larynx and it extends till the fifth thoracic vertebra. Here you can see in the label, where it divides into right and left primary bronchi at carina. It is made up of 16 to 20 C-shaped incomplete rings of hyaline cartilage. You can see this ring-like structures. There are 16 to 20 ring-like structures and it is made up of cartilage. They are incomplete because on the posterior side they are joined to the esophagus. The function of trachea is to provide support to the neck and to provide flexibility to the neck and the head. Blood and nerve supply. Blood is supplied by the inferior thyroid and bronchial arteries. Parasympathetic nerve supply is by the laryngeal nerves and other branches of vagus nerves, and sympathetic supply is by nerves from sympathetic ganglia. Now comes the lower respiratory tract. First one is bronchi and bronchioles. In this structure, you can see the bronchial tree. Bronchial tree is the conductive pathway that leads from the larynx down to the alveoli of the lungs. So the bronchial tree starts from the trachea. It divides into right primary bronchus and left primary bronchus. The primary bronchus then divides into right secondary bronchus and left secondary bronchus. They again divide into tertiary bronchus, both right and left, and finally they become smaller bronchi, bronchioles, and reach to the alveoli. The complete sequence of bronchial tree is shown in this chart. The difference between right bronchus and left bronchus. Right bronchus is wider, shorter and more vertical, whereas left bronchus is narrower and longer. Right bronchus is 2.5 cm long and left is 5 cm long. So left is double long than right bronchus. After entering the lung, right bronchus divides into 3 branches and left bronchus it divides into 2 branches. Blood and nerve supply. Blood is supplied by branches of left and right bronchial arteries. Nerve supply is from the vagus nerve and the venous return is through bronchial vein. Right side empties into azygous vein and left side empties into superior intercostal vein. Next is alveoli. It is also known as the basic unit of lung. There are about 150 million alveoli in an adult lung. The gas exchange occurs in the alveoli, and the alveoli are surrounded by the dense network of capillaries. You can see in this structure that they are surrounded by pulmonary vein, arteries, and dense network of capillaries. Exchange of gases in the lung takes place across a membrane made up of alveolar wall and capillary wall fused firmly together. This is called respiratory membrane. So the exchange of gases occurs over here. Here the alveolar wall and capillary wall infuse together, and it is known as respiratory membrane. Next are the lungs. Lungs are the organs that surround the bronchial tree. There are two lungs, left and right lung. Each lung has separate lobes. Right lung has three lobes: superior, middle, and inferior. And the left lung has two lobes, superior and inferior. The lobes are separated by fissures, oblique fissure and horizontal fissure. Each lung has an apex, base, medial surface and costal surface. So this top of the lung is known as apex. This is the base, and the surface that we are looking at right now is the costal surface, and the posterior one is the medial surface. There is a closed sac of serous membrane in which each lung is situated. It is called pleura. Pleura contains some amount of serous fluid called pleural fluid. Pleura consists of an outer layer called parietal pleura and inner layer called visceral. The space between them is called pleural cavity, in which pleural fluid is present. So in this structure you can see there is an outer covering called parietal pleura. The inner layer is visceral pleura. This together is known as pleural sac, and in this sac the lung is located. And this middle space that you can see consists of fluid that is known as pleural fluid, and that space is known as pleural cavity. So this was the anatomy of respiratory system. I hope you all understood. If you have any question, you can ask in the comment section. Thank you so much for watching. Please like this video and subscribe to our channel.
Do like, leave a comment, and share with your friends.